Welcome back. It's Wednesday, March 22nd in the NBA. My four favorite picks are on the way. After sweeping the slate on Monday, we did it again yesterday, but in the wrong way. An 0-5 day. Terrible. Honestly, this was my worst day sports betting ever. And we're going to have bad days. We're going to have good days, but we haven't had a bad day like that. It was terrible all across the board. I could come out here and make a ton of excuses, but I'm not going to do that. Like, no one wants to hear excuses. No one wants to see me ramble for 10 minutes saying, this went bad, this went. Now it's just a bad day, and look, we're going to move past it. Our March record so far, we're 32-34 through March 21st, down 4.99 units. So prior to yesterday, we're up on the month, but we haven't had a losing month in the NBA this season. We got 10 days left in March. Time to turn it around, at least make back these last 5 units, and we need to get on a hot streak. Look, the last couple weeks have just been brutal for our picks. We need to dive back in, and we're all going to do just that today. If you are new, go down below, hit that subscribe button, drop a like too. We do these daily videos every single day. Ladder challenge probably not going to start back up today. I think we're going to wait till the MLB starts. We'll have some sort of hit streak challenge there, so we'll wait for that. But let's dive into our favorite plays. Let's have a better day. We can't go worse than yesterday. Physically, it's not possible because I only have 4 picks and there's no best bet of the day. But we'll start with this guy, the guy in the thumbnail. Stephen Curry. I like his over 28.5 points, minus 120 on DraftKings. Now, you can take this at 29.5 if you want to. You can fade if you want to. But I really like Curry tonight. Let's talk about why. Now, him and the Warriors travel to Dallas to take on the Mavericks. Now, Luka and Kyrie Irving, both questionable. We have no idea. That's normal for the Mavs these days. We don't know who's going to suit up for them. What I do know is this defense is bad regardless of who's out there, and I assume at least one of these two guys does suit up as they're on ESPN primetime game, but I think Curry's going to step up, and he's been lighting it up. Over Curry's last 8 games, he's averaged 31.9 points per game, scoring 29 plus points in 6 of those 8 games. So he's been very, very good. And you look at that, averaged 21.9 field goal attempts in those 8 games with 19 plus shot attempts in 6 of 8. The 2 games he went under, he attempted 15 and 13 shots. So yeah, he's not going to hit the over if he's only shooting 15 to 13 times, but I think they need him here in a big way. Now, you look at Curry, if we can get him up to that 19 or 20 field goal attempt number, well, he's had a great track record hitting this over. In fact, he's hit this over in 28.5 points in 21 of his last 25 with 19 or more field goal attempts. And Clay, who just had a great game, we took Clay's over in his last game, scored 29 points. His line is still sitting at 21.5, so they didn't even flinch on his line. Clay's really struggled on the road this year. I think Curry's going to have to step up. And you look at Curry, despite, hitting the over in 2 of his last 3 with 30-plus points in both those games, still shooting a 41.5% from the field, 33.3% from 3. We know Curry, if he gets hot, he could honestly hit this over in 1/2 because that's how hot he can get. And if he hits, it's just one of those nights where he's knocking down his shots, I think that he could easily make this a no-sweat bet. But even if he's just shooting below average, what he's been doing the last 3 games, still has a chance of hitting this over, given his volume. This is a big time game. Both these two teams want this win. The Warriors are currently half a game above the Mavericks, but the Mavericks are the 8th seed. The Warriors are the 6th seed. So both these two teams want to win. Big game for the playoff standings at the end of the year. So I'm riding with Curry. I think he's going to have a big night. We'll take his over 28.5 points. Hopefully we get Kyrie and Luka back out there, but they've been playing really fast. They don't have a great defensive game plan or really just a great defensive team since they traded away a couple guys. I think Stephen Curry, big night. Ride with you, Steph, over 28.5 points. Now let's keep it moving to another guy that's been really hot lately, and that's Zach Levine. I like his over 24.5 points, minus 120 on Bet365. Now, you can take this at 25.5, and honestly, I like his points plus assists line at 28.5. We know Levine's going to have the ball in his hands a ton, so he's actually been getting a good amount of assists. So the difference between points to points plus assists was only 4. He's been getting 4 assists pretty consistently. So let's talk about this, why we like it, though. Levine and the Bulls back at home facing the Sixers. Now, this matchup, they played just on Monday. That game was in Philadelphia. We saw Levine score 26 points. Now, he did need double overtime to get the over, but something I did notice is, you look at that game, that was super low scoring. They had I think the final score was a combined 214 points, but they had just only, they moved the over-under up to 222. At halftime, they were only combined for 90 points. So I think the Bucks moving this over-under up, despite soaring under last game if there weren't overtime. I think they're expecting the offenses to figure it out a little bit here, and I think they do just that. Now, Levine, like I said, been very, very good in March. He's been on fire. He's averaged 31.4 points per game in March. 9 games, he scored 25 plus hitting this over in 8 of those 9, and he's been really, really good at home. But in those games, 39.7 minutes per game. Granted, that's a little bit inflated due to a couple overtime games, but 20.8 field goal attempts per game, 7.1 free throw attempts per game. He's a good free throw shooter, and like I said, he's been very, very good at home too, where DeRozan notoriously steps back. Levine normally steps up at home. In his last 7 home games, a lot of those in March, but some in February, he had averaged 30 points per game, scoring 25 plus in 6 of 7 home games. So he's been very good, and I think he continues to be pretty good today. Now, you could say Austin, he needed overtime to get to 25 last game. And while that's true, he also didn't shoot well from the field. Went 8 for 20, 40% from the field, 2 for 9 from 3, 22%. Levine's better than a 22% three-point shooter. We know Levine, like a guy like Stephen Curry, if they get hot, see that first one go through the hoop, they're going to keep shooting the ball. And Levine's not afraid of shooting the basketball. He's played well versus Philadelphia, scoring 24 or more points in 5 of their last 6 matchups. Now, I like him to get to his spots. Thinks it's a higher scoring game than that first matchup. And like I said, this is another team that wants to win. The Bulls are now the 10 seed. They moved into that seed. They were the 11. They're here in the 10 in the play-in games, but obviously you don't want to be the 10 seed. You want to climb up and at least get to the 7 or 8 seed, so you only need to win really 1 game to get into the playoffs. And look, they're only 1.5 games behind the Hawks, I believe, for the 8 seed. Either way, the Sixers also want to win too on the other side. So look, I think Levine steps up. They're at home, 25 points. I think he can easily get that. Should have the volume, should get to the free throw line. I like his over 24.5 points. If they want to go to overtime, let us cash it there again, I'm fine with it. We'll take Zach Levine over 24.5 points. Now, my third play of the day, well, then we'll have a bankroll builder in a second. It's going to be a guy that I love, a guy that's coming off a career high in points, but today we're not taking his points. We're taking his over. Julius Randle, that is. Knicks over 11.5 rebounds plus assists, minus 117 on Caesars. Now, I would play this at 12.5. You'll see this line can be pretty sharp in a second, and my favorite pivot would probably be to just his over in rebounds. I don't honestly hate his over in points, but like I said, Randle coming off a career high 57 points. The guy went nuts. Now, the Knicks lost in that game. Don't love to see that as a Knicks fan, but in that game, only 4 rebounds, 1 assist. Now, the rebounds, understandable. The Timberwolves literally did not miss any shots. I mean, technically they did miss, but I mean, Torian Prince going like 8 for 8 from 3. They didn't miss anything. And then on assist side, well, Randle had 57 points. What do you expect him to do? Pass the ball? Probably not going to happen. So I think this line went down, but this line is really, really good for us to take, and I really like this one. Now, Randle is over this line in 17 of his last 25 games. And if you look at it, Randle has landed on 11 exactly on the under 5 of those 8 games that he went under. So he's been really, really close to hitting this over, but he just has landed on the hook a couple times. If he wants to land on the hook at 11 today, fine. But I think he goes over today given the matchup. And today the Knicks are on the road taking on the Miami Heat. Now, if you look at this game, the over-under is 222. I wouldn't be surprised if this game went under that line because these are 2 very good defensive teams. And I just think Randle is going to be a primary rebounder today. We've seen his rebounding kind of downtick thanks to the arrival of Josh Hart. Mitchell Robinson's obviously back, but I still think today's a better matchup for him to rebound than his previous matchups. Now, he's probably going to guard Kevin Love in the starting lineup, which is good. Kevin Love kind of isn't involved in the offense a whole lot, kind of chills in the paint or chills on the corner, just shooting threes in the corner. So Randle should be in the paint guarding, grabbing rebounds, but I don't think he guards Jimmy Butler. I think that's a Quentin Grimes, and RJ Barrett, a Josh Hart kind of task to go out there and guard Butler. So I think at the end of the day, Randle's just going to be a guy that's kind of not hiding on defense, but he's not necessarily the number 1 defender on any of the number 1 guys for this Heat team, whether that's Hero, Adebayo, or Butler. I don't think he guards any of those 3. So I think we'll see Randle, who's done this in the past against Miami. His last 8 games versus Miami, averaged 8.8 rebounds per game, 4.8 assists per game. That's 13.6 rebounds plus assists. All we need is 12 today. Now, in those 8 games, Randle over in 5 of 8, and you look at the ones he went under. I put all of his up on the screen. He had 10, 11, and 11 in the 3 games he went under. So get really close to hitting the over. Just didn't get it done. He's over this in 3 straight versus Miami. The last game he had 12 rebounds plus assists combined against them. That was a game he dropped 43 points. Look, it wouldn't be surprising to see the Miami Heat maybe throw some double teams at him. He knocked down 8 3-pointers in that game. And maybe the shots aren't falling today because Randle just had every single shot fall yesterday. So maybe this is a law of regression. He comes back to not knocking down shots, but he's still going to play a lot of minutes, 35, 36, 38 minutes for this Knicks team. This is a big time game for both teams. I don't see a blowout either way. I think he can easily go out there and step up. Like I said, Josh Hart's going to grab some rebounds, but I think he gets a more defensive matchup than maybe a guy like Randle. I think Randle can go out there and grab 10, 12 rebounds alone, but he also can go out there and chip in 4, 6, random 8 assist type game. So I really like Randle tonight. I think he has a big night. We'll take his over 11.5 rebounds plus assists. I think he stuffs the stat sheet tonight and doesn't necessarily get a ton of points, where his line is 26.5. I like Randle to get over in rebounds plus assists at 11.5. Give it to me. Now, my 4th and final play will be the bankroll builder. Not going to probably have the ladder challenge until the MLB resumes in about a week, but we'll talk about these bankroll builders, which have been really, really good. Yesterday's bankroll builder was the Beal one, where he ended with 18 points. All the other legs hit, but Beal did not get it done. He fouled out. I think he might have ended with 16. But either way, here we go into the Nuggets-Wizards game. We're just doing a same game parlay here, and honestly, the Wizards aren't even here because they screwed us yesterday, so get out of here. We're just riding with Nuggets props today. Nikola Jokic, 20-plus points. Jokic, 8-plus rebounds. Murray, 15-plus points. And Aaron Gordon, 10-plus points. This is plus 116 on FanDuel. A 4-leg same game parlay, just putting a unit on it. Now, Now, as an individual leg, if you don't have obviously same game parlays, which is why I save these towards the end, because I know a lot of people might not have the ability to bet these. I do like Jokic over 35.5 points plus rebounds. I did consider that as a regular individual straight play. I think he can crush that line given the previous matchups. Now, let's talk about why we like these legs though. Jokic, been very good recently, 20 plus points in 6 straight games. In his last 5 versus Washington, he scored 33, 24, 28, 29, and 43 points. So he's absolutely crushed this line. He's been crushing it, and I think he can easily get us 20 points today. Even if this game is a blowout, he should be able to get us 20. Now, as for his rebounds, well, he has 8 rebounds in at least 25 straight games. That's as far as stat muse went back, but I think he can easily get us 8 today. In his last 4 versus Washington, 11, 19, 13, and 14 rebounds. He's normally pretty good, sure, in for 8 rebounds. Will he get 10? I don't know, but I think he should get us at least 8. Now, besides Jokic, we need Murray and Gordon to step up, and Murray has been better, 15 plus points in 22 of his last 25. His last 3 games, 19, 25, and 25, kind of getting into more of a rhythm as the playoffs approach, and I think it's just a matchup for him to exploit. Wizards don't have a great defender on either side of the court. I think Murray's going to shoot a bunch. I think he can get us 15 points. I know if you look back to December when these two teams played, Murray did not play well in that game. I think he's better than that. Obviously, that was right when he was only, 2 months removed from coming back from his surgeries. I think he's better today. I think he scores at least 15. And then Aaron Gordon, the last 10 plus points in 10 straight. And in 24 of his last 25 games. His last 3 versus Washington, all as a member of the Nuggets, 16, 14, and 22 points. So all these 4 legs, you can combine them, plus 116. I think that's great value. Now, well, not terrific value for 4 things to happen, but I think it's pretty realistic that all 4 of these things happen. If this game is close, we have an even better chance, and I think the Wizards can keep this game close. They're basically fighting, they're on their last limbs of life support. They need a win today. And while I'm not saying the Nuggets lose to the Wizards, we've seen the Nuggets lose to worse teams than the Wizards recently. So I think these 4 legs, plus 116, I'll take a stab at it. So those are my 4 favorite plays. We've got that Nuggets same game parlay for plus 116. We're riding with Julius Randle's over in rebounds plus assists. Riding with Zach Levine's over in points. And Stephen Curry over in points. Let's have a bounce back day. Yesterday was just, we're just going to forgive and forget. We're going to move on. Today's a new day. Today's a Wednesday. And Wednesday you can't spell it without a W, which we're giving you 4 of them. Let's have a great day. See you guys back in. Same time, same place tomorrow morning. Peace out.